The Realm of the Mist show that you are currently tuned into will begin in about 5 minutes. Until then, enjoy this wonderful tune.
Why does a good man have to die? Another piece of shit to be born. Reasons unheard of tearing my flesh. My heart is ripped, my soul is torn.
You are listening to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast presented by Realm of Mist Entertainment with your host, John Tolly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. We are coming to you, as always, from deep within the Outer Rim, far beyond the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire. Joining me today, rounding out this trio, is my own holy trinity of Star Wars, Mr. Brian Miller and Christopher Stolle. Together, we are like the Han, Luke, and Leia of the Star Wars podcasting world, and I'll let you figure out which one of us is Leia.
Chris is juicy.
Look, I'll admit it. With Brian's reaction right now, I'm Leia.
You really are. But I want to be Luke.
Oh, right. Oh, man.
Ew, you.
Oh, I'm already married.
You want to bone me?
I'm already married, so.
I'm younger than you.
I don't want to be Leia if you two are the choices.
Oh, so how are you guys today?
Chris is juicy, and I'm like loving life right now.
What is with the word juicy?
Because you hate it. Look, here's the thing, guys.
No,
Chris,
no,
I'm not gonna show anybody.
No,
but Chris sent me a photo of himself from years ago that is going to be a promo for the channel very soon, like tomorrow night soon, because I've got to come up with some good shit for this.
He's just
and I cannot wait to show you guys this picture. Like I said before we went live, I feel like JJ holding the trailer for episode 9, just going, I know what it is and nobody else does. I'm so giddy now that I know. Oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh my God. We do have some house cleaning to do before we get into the news and everything here.
Chris is trying to change the subject so fast.
No. It's good stuff. It's nothing terrible. I'm trying to set up for it right now. So give me a split moment. Here we go.
All right.
I had to throw that out there because I want to talk about our buddies over at White People Shit Podcast, WPS. They had recently been on an episode. Well, one of them, Liam, had been on one of our episodes for It Had to Be Said with Venus. And he was a great guy, really fun. And they just released their newest episode dealing with bullies. And as you guys well know, they gave us a lot of love and respect and called us professionals, which they have no idea about.
If only they knew
how unprofessional we are. But I just wanted to give some love to the guys over at WPS Podcast. Make sure you guys go check them out: Spotify, iTunes, wherever quality podcasts are sold. And to Liam's partner, I forget his name. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I usually forget people that are unimportant. Who have issues with the fact that pro wrestling is fake and he thinks he can kick my ass. Dude, I'm going to be on your show in a couple of weeks.
Oh, here we go.
And not only am I going to verbally assault your ears, which, is kind of like listening to you sing in the shower. I will always love you. But I am formally going to invite you to come on down to Philadelphia. I've still got connections with all the wrestling promotions I used to work for. I may be retired, but I can get us a ring. And 15, 20 minutes worth of time. And I'm willing right here on Realm of the Mist Entertainment to not only get in the ring with you and show you how fake wrestling isn't, I'm willing to put it on my own podcast live. That even if you kick my ass, it's on my podcast live. Balls in your court, Chief. But either way, make sure you check out my boys over at WPS Podcast. That's the house cleaner.
Damn. Hashtag heal for life. Oh, all right. Well, the gauntlet has been thrown down. So,
to say the least.
Nothing but love, guys. Nothing but love, guys. Nothing but love.
Yeah. Let's go into some news, and we actually got quite a bit of news to talk about today. And let's start off with the fact that it looks like the speculation that we kind of predicted is coming true, and looks like we most likely are gonna have an Old Republic movie.
In other news, water is wet. Again, you don't hire Benioff and Weiss, the guys who brought Game of Thrones to life and made it one of the most powerful TV shows ever, who gave us a battle sequence like Blackwater or the Battle of the Bastards. You don't hire those guys and not do Old Republic. I mean, it's a no fucking brainer.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that apparently shooting starts this fall, which means possibly 2021 release, maybe even late 2020.
Well, it matches up with what they were saying. I covered, Chris, you and I talked about this Sunday on Canon Podcast, how they were talking about they're getting ready to start production on a TV series, which we said was most likely Cassian Andor, and then a film. And that lines up perfectly with that rumor, that they're getting ready to go into production for. And you and I called it. It was going to be a Benioff and Weiss film first.
Mm-hmm. And it was going to be Old Republic. Actually,
wait. We got to clarify. It doesn't actually say Old Republic. It just says it's a film that takes place before the Skywalkers.
Right.
That's all it says.
Yeah.
Right, but
we all know it's going to be Old Republic.
The only part of this rumor that I have caught in a couple things that I do not agree with, and I could be wrong, but right now it just seems wrong to me, is that they're looking at Keanu Reeves to take on the role of Revan.
Yeah, that looks more like fan service, like fan stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I mean, it's
I would. I don't want Revan taking off his mask and going, "Party on! Be excellent to each other." You killed my dog. There is no spoon. Oh my god, I'm turning Revan into fucking Kylo Ren. Shaw Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, stop.
No, I mean, I know Keanu's a decent actor. I just don't see him as Revan. I don't.
Yeah. And of course, the other big news is Disney looks like they are going to be relaunching the LucasArts games. So how do you guys feel about that? About the, I know you guys are more of gamers than I am, so.
I don't buy it for a second.
I do. I do because it was reported by PC Gamer. When it was reported by other sites, I didn't care as much, but PCGamer.com, they're 99.9% usually accurate. Now, the problem I have with this is that they're talking about that they're going to pull the license from EA and give it to LucasArts, Lucasfilm. That means they will be shutting down everything that they've been doing with Battlefront 2, and thus far, most of what they've been doing with Battlefront 2 has been good. So that's kind of a catch-22 to me, if this is correct. And I'm fair enough to say that it's still, until it comes out from Lucasfilm itself, I'm still gonna say that it's more rumor than fact. But I am excited about the idea of LucasArts again releasing games because they've put out some of the memorable games. But it's a catch-22 because I don't want Battlefront 2 to shut down.
Yeah.
And until Lucasfilm officially announces it, I'm just going to take it with a grain of salt.
I don't buy it for a second because, like a month ago, during a shareholders meeting, Bob Iger came out and said they were talking about the future of Star Wars video games, and he talked about a lot of things. He said how in the past that Lucasfilm had developed their own games through LucasArts and everything like that, and he said that they had tried doing it with what was the mobile game they came out with? Uprising wasn't a big hit. And whatnot. And he said he came out and said it's better if they just license it out, and that's what he said they were going to do instead of keeping it under an umbrella of Lucasfilm. So unless that's just him pulling the wool over everybody's eyes just to have it leak, a month later, I don't buy it at all. And I don't know. Do I want LucasArts to come back? Jesus, yes. That is what they should have done in the first fucking place. Brought LucasArts back. They should have never closed it in the first place. Well, but I don't see any. I don't buy it. I have this feeling like it's just. I don't get it.
Well, again, it depends if we're talking about bringing back LucasArts. If you bring it back with the right people, like the people that were originally running LucasArts before Disney's purchase of all things Lucas. Then you're talking about you're talking about like the smartest move they can make it for their gaming industry. But if you're talking about just reopening the name but having a whole bunch of nobodies control it, then you don't know one way or another how it's going to turn out. We could wind up with another set of like really shitty games.
Right.
So again, even if this rumor is true that they are going to go back to their own in-house thing and everything that LucasArts was, but they don't have the right people doing it, it's not going to make much of a difference.
But the great thing if they do that though, I've always said, don't just keep it at EA, the license for Star Wars games. You milk that thing. You send it out to everybody you can for people to pay you rent to make Star Wars games. And not only are you making money, but we're getting content. How long do we have to wait for the next Star Wars video game to come out? We're getting one this fall, but how long has it been since Battlefront 2 came out?
2015.
Yeah, well, no, that was Battlefront 1. Battlefront 2 was
2017.
16? Or was it 17? You're right, it was 2017. So that's 2 years between each game, man. Come on, give it out so that we can get more stories. That's a medium that that's an audience, that's a demographic that you are shunning at this point, gamers.
Yeah.
Well, that
You know?
well that in effect, like the last 2 Star Wars games that you waited 4 years for were all first-person shooters. One of
Right.
which didn't even have a campaign.
Campaign, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where you're shunning your. The thing about Lucasfilm back in the days, you had arcade games, you had role-playing games, you had first-person shooters, you had flight simulators, you had arcade action, you had different genres of games that appealed to different types of gamers.
Yeah. Well, it was the games that got me really back interested in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It was the X-Wing series. I remember getting the X-Wing series and especially the TIE Fighter when they had a little booklet with it, and I remember reading it and being like, oh, this is so cool, I need to know more about this stuff. And then that got me into the books, which got me back into eventually where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, those old games like that were very, I mean, especially for me, very influential in my childhood, those old LucasArts game. And it's not just the Star Wars games too.
Mm-hmm.
No,
know,
they
you
had
had a
other
bunch
great
of
games too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. That's a
Yep.
that's a sleeper series. There was a plenty of Indiana Jones games that were, in my opinion, better than things like Tomb Raider.
Right. Or, Crystal Skull. I mean, let's face it, the holiday special is better than Crystal Skull.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Shots fired. No, I'm going there.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I was pretty jaded by Crystal Skull. I don't think you understand how badly that disappointed me.
Wow. He just
Yeah.
called Crystal Skull the L337 of the Indiana Jones universe.
Went there.
Oh my god. Wow.
No shame.
Ooh.
wow.
What you got? Yep. Mark, it's your turn to throw down the gauntlet against somebody.
I can't beat that. Wow. No.
I'm picking fights with White People Shit Podcast. You're picking fights with fucking LucasArts, Lucas.
Bring it on,
Lucasfilm about
Lucasfilm.
fucking
Fight me.
about
What you got?
Fucking Indiana Jones 4. Come on, Mark. Yell.
You
yell,
won't fight me
Yell
in
at
my extra
I-
small white tee.
yell at the mentally handicapped kid that pushes carts at your store. Let's just offend everybody. Come on.
Bug it.
Oh wow. Anyway,
It's
the
a-
views of Christopher Stolle and Brian Miller do not necessarily reflect those of.
There it was. I knew it was coming at some point.
It had to come sooner or later.
Yep.
Oh, right. Well, with that out of the way, let us segue right into our main topic. And today we're continuing our.
Wait. We missed one extra piece of news.
Oh!
How dare you? How dare
Breaking
you?
news.
Today, officially it has been officiated that I can't talk today. Disney now officially owns Fox Studios. How does that tie into to Star Wars? Well, I'll tell you. Fox has owned the rights to the original saga, all 6 films. The Star Wars saga is now home. It does mean that after Episode 9 releases, I guarantee you there will be a box set of all 9 films.
So do you think that with the Disney Plus service coming out this fall, do you think the classic films and the prequels will be on there also?
I guarantee you.
You guarantee it?
I guarantee it. Now that they own Fox, it will be there.
Because Fox only ever had the distribution rights. That's all it was.
Right, but that's why Disney has never put it on like Hulu.
Right.
That's why you got all the other shit that Disney's released, but never the previous stuff.
Right.
So my question is will they still have, for the original if they re-release the originals trilogy, will they still have the 20th Century Fox opening? Because for me, that was almost part of my childhood, is seeing that 20th Century fanfare, that dun da 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 dun da da.
I'll do one
And
better
go
for you. I'll do one better for you. I agree with you. I think they should because it is part of Star Wars. But I do one better for you. If they released it, since they own 20th Century Fox now, they should start distributing Lucasfilm Star Wars films through 20th Century Fox and put that logo back at the beginning of the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the
For
old
something
movies, but
so
everything
simple,
new.
For something so simple, it did feel absent the last four films. It really did feel absent, and to actually have heard that before, because when you go in and you sit down and you just hear like the chiming of Lucasfilm, and then just a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, da 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 da. Whenever you think da 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 da, you think of da 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 da. You know, however,
Well, I'll even go one further than that. I remember it started with the THX.
That sound used to scare me when I was a kid for some reason. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why.
Then the fanfare, the dun 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 dun, and then that brief pause when a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then the dun 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 dun. Dun. Yeah, to me that was just like.
Well, that fanfare was so important that it's actually on the original trilogy's soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
It's connected with the main themes of all three movies.
Yeah.
I don't remember so much if it's on the prequel movie soundtracks, but on the original trilogy soundtracks, look it up. The 20th Century Fanfare is there. That's how tied in it is to Star Wars. You put it back on the films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the news. Sorry.
All right. That was the news. Anyway, back to our main topic. We are continuing our look at the women of Star Wars, this time with the captain of the Ghost, General Hera Syndulla. And I'll just start off right now, and the first thing that I think of when I think of Hera, the first word that comes to mind is mom.
Mom.
Mm-hmm.
She was the mom of that crew. Even though she was not necessarily old, but, I mean, especially when it came to Ezra and Sabine. I mean, she was very much the mother figure, even to the point of calling them the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was Hera. I mean, at least for that first couple seasons, it was mom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you guys disagree? Or, I mean, what was your guys? I mean, when you think of Hera, what's the first thing you guys think of?
Well, now that I'm thinking about mom, I'm thinking about she raised Chopper, and if that's any indication, she's a terrible mother. No, I like Hera as a character. I always did. I felt she was like a no-nonsense, down-to-earth. She definitely had a tolerance for the crew of the Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was terrible at hiding her feelings for Kanan, but she was definitely a better character, I think, than her father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Cham, they kind of screwed Cham up a little bit because Cham Syndulla between Clone Wars and Rebels, it's kind of the same Cham. Well, not really. Cham Syndulla and Rebels at first was kind of a dickhole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you get Cham in like Lords of the Sith, the novel Lords of the Sith, it went right along with the Clone Wars. Like he just became a dickhole at some point between Lords of the Sith and Rebels. And considering how that book goes, I guess it's understandable. But that's enough. Like between him and Saw Gerrera, those are the two characters. I'm like, there's not a lot of continuity between every iteration of him you get.
Yeah.
But Hera, no, I love Hera.
Yeah.
Absolutely love her. I named my dog after her, so you know.
Well. All right. Well, there's our show, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for calling.
Bye. Have a good night, everybody. May the force be with you.
Stay tuned for
That
After
was a
Hours.
good character.
Stay tuned for After Hours.
Stay tuned for After Hours.
No. I mean, you know, to me, Hera is really interesting because she was the first of the cartoon characters to get a mention in the live-action movies.
Mm.
I mean, that to me just shows just how important she was to the Star Wars story and to everything, that of all the characters they could have mentioned from the plethora of you know all the characters that have been in the animated movies, it was the one they chose was Hera.
No, you're not wrong,
well,
and we also take a look at the fact that not only did they make mention of her in Rogue One, they also, as Brian will probably point out to you because he is the keeper of canon, that some of the Forces of Destiny videos are canon, in which case Hera and the Ghosts survive the intergalactic civil war. They are seen on Endor after the Battle of Endor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get that at the end of Rebels, too. You know, we know that they survived because we see Hera with her son, with her and Kanan's son. So we know that they survived and, you know, went on to bigger and better things. Now, now the question is, how long did they survive into that? And is in the current timeline is Hera still out there?
Well, I guess
As far as like sequel trilogy goes,
Yeah.
that's a good question.
well, how long do Twi'leks live? Like, what is their lifespan?
I don't know, man. Bib Fortuna didn't look too good.
Yeah. Well,
No, like
the reason I'm wondering is because like you can imagine like during the time of Rebels that Hera's mid to late 20s, I would say,
Yeah.
like human wise. So you figure that's 5 years before the Galactic Civil War, right? Give or
Yeah.
take, if I'm following my timeline correctly. It's 5 years before A New Hope. So then she survives the Battle of New Hope. So she's early to mid 30s at the end of Jedi, human wise. Then you add 30 more years to that. That's in their
in her
60s.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's possible. I mean, it's,
well,
60 is possible.
think about this for a second too, because at the end of Rebels, we know, their son Jason. She even said, he was a great pilot like her mother, and we all know what his father was like, right?
Yeah.
So, which leads me to believe he's a Force user.
right.
So, could there be a possibility that he's going to pop up somewhere that he was one of Luke's students at the new academy? You know what I mean? Like, so,
Ooh.
yeah, like there's a possibility he could pop up somewhere else down the road, because he would have been what? Yeah, he was like 4 or 5 years old at the end of Rebels.
It looked
So-
like it, yeah.
So, which means he was born right around the time of like A New Hope, right? Maybe even right before. So he's
Yeah.
going to be like 35. He's probably close. He's just a little bit older than Kylo. I already know you know where I'm going with this.
No, I just had a completely different thought. What if she's in Episode 9? What if she's the one that's with Lando?
Oh.
Mm.
And
I don't know, because I just watched the episode of Rebels with Lando, the Puffer Pig episode, the one filler episode in that entire series. And she was not fond of Lando. Not even by the skin of her teeth was she fond of Lando.
She warmed up to him later on in the series.
Yeah.
And I say warm up not in the sense of like they became like friends, but she more tolerated Lando by the end of the series.
Yeah. It's possible. I mean,
And
the
she
odds of
fought-
seeing Hera pop up.
And as canon will dictate, she has fought for the Rebel Alliance all through the Galactic Civil War. She knows that Lando blew up the second Death Star
Right.
and became a general for the Galactic Alliance.
Right.
So there could be a new respect there. 30 years down the line, we got old Billy D. Williams sitting there with his Sabacc cards and his
Hera.
Colt 45, and he's in the Ghost with Hera, and that's how they get interconnected with the Resistance.
Well, see, the reason I think Hera got a mention in Rogue One, and keep in mind also, the Ghost makes an appearance in Rogue One, and so does Chopper.
Yeah.
I think the reason that actually even happened at all was because Rebels was still going on at the time the film came out. It was still showing. We didn't know where the characters were going to end up throughout the series, because we all thought there's no chance in hell any of these guys survive, remember?
Oh, yeah. I
And then they
remember that,
did. So then you see Chopper in Rogue One, and then you hear General Syndulla. I think it was their way of saying, because that's the only other piece of canon that's really happening at that exact time. I think that was their way of universe building of, well, this is the only other thing happening right now, so let's just mix it in with this. Hera made the most sense, so they said, General Syndulla. But I swear, I will, to the day I die, I will say this. In Rogue One, when you see Chopper's little cameo when he's rolling off to the side, how hard, Lucasfilm, I'm going to call you out again. How hard would it have been to put a fucking green Twi'lek in an orange jumpsuit walking in front of him? How hard would that have been? You already said General Syndulla's name on the radio. We know she's alive. Why the fuck couldn't you have put her in the shot?
Oh, that would have been.
It would have just been for those fans that pay attention
That
to
new.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas.
Because I remember sitting in the theater for Rogue One, and when the ghost popped up, I heard people going, "Oh my god!" Like, and you could tell who in the audience watched Rebels and who didn't, because some people were like, yeah, I don't get it, like.
Yeah, Lucasfilm, you gave us a movie that we didn't think we even wanted, that gave us the greatest hallway scene of all time. You brought back Tarkin from the dead. You gave us a movie that was probably one of the greatest movies of the current Star Wars films to date. You gave us You gave us
I'll
the
say
Ghost.
that's the best one they've made so far. Yeah.
You gave us the Ghost. You gave us Chopper. You mentioned Syndulla's name. You gave us cameos of other actors and characters from the
Red and
New
Gold
Hope.
Leader.
Red and Gold Leader and the Doctor. You better watch yourself. And everything.
Dr. Evazan. Yeah.
You gave us,
Yes.
you gave us so much shit, but how dare you not give me one more thing? Damn you! Yeah, call him. You're
Who are you, Lucasfilm?
You're sounding like one of these dudes who hate Last Jedi because it didn't go with your fan fiction, man.
No. I'm just saying. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna put Chopper, why the hell was Chopper alone? I mean, you even see the Ghost later on parked at the base at Yavin 4. You see the Ghost sitting there on the pad. Why? If you're gonna put Chopper there, why not put Hera? Why not? And how often do we see Twi'leks in these new films? We don't.
No.
We don't see any Duros.
We don't really see a lot of aliens. Period.
We don't. We haven't seen any Zabraks yet. We saw one Rodian, and we saw one Twi'lek, and there was a Twi'lek in Rogue One. It was actually Bib Fortuna's cousin or something fighting with Saw Gerrera, and then there was a Rodian in Solo, like a golden Rodian. But that's the only other times you've seen any aliens that were from the classic films. It's all been new stuff. Even in 7 and 8, show me one familiar alien. How hard would it have been to put a Twi'lek and put Hera in Rogue One? Then you could say, "Oh my God," because we already knew she's alive.
Wasn't there a Doug that was a pilot, part of Poe's squadron in Force Awakens?
I don't think there was a Doug.
I think there was a Doug.
The only other time you see a Doug is they put one in digitally in Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace, and then you see another one in Episode 2,
which
here in the
still
speeder chase.
There are some people that still argue that was Sebulba.
It was. No, they've confirmed that was Sebulba.
That was Sebulba.
That was Sebulba. Yeah, and but it was kind of nice. He almost got taken out by Anakin, who he tried to take out. But anyway, no, that was him. But no, I will stand by Hera should have been in Rogue One until the day I die. It wouldn't even have been that hard to do.
No.
Rogue One Special Edition.
That's right. Make it so.
George Lucas shit out of it.
Well, let's talk about because I think we kind of already mentioned this, that in many ways, at least for Rebels, that Hera was kind of like yes, you can make the argument that the show was centered around and the focus of the show was Kanan and Ezra, and more so Ezra, but Hera was the backbone of that show. I mean, she was the glue that held that crew together.
No, you're not wrong. I would say Ezra was the catalyst for the show. I wouldn't say he was the main focus either. I think it really was Kanan. Because Kanan was the most impactful of the whole entire show as far as stories concerned.
Yeah.
However, you're absolutely right. If anybody held that crew together and gave legitimacy to them being part of the rebellion, it was Hera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why of all of them, she was the one that got the rank. She was the one that got the title of general. I don't think, did Kanan get a rank, or was he just...
No, he didn't make it that far.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for those of you that haven't finished Rebels.
Well, I mean, she got the rank of general even before the series was even over. Like, I mean, when they kind of hooked up with the rest of the rebellion, the rest of the rebellion, and wasn't
she a captain? She wasn't general. She was captain.
She might have been a captain at the time, but she still got a rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not just Rebels she kicks ass in too. It's the comics, because I know Chris isn't a fan of the Dr. Aphra comic, but she's made an appearance in that also, to the point where Aphra tied her up and put a big ass ribbon on her head. You know what I mean? And she
saw that
was pissed off about it later too. Because Aphra was asking her for help. She's like, "Why should I help you? You put a ribbon on my head," or some shit like that. But Hera's coming up also in Alphabet Squadron, the novel coming out, Alphabet Squadron. She's the one that's dispatching the squadron. So I'm excited to see even more Hera. She's still continuing to pop up.
Yeah. Well, let's just kind of go through and just talk about, and I think this is the first time in any of our talking with any of the women where you can really talk about their relationship with other female characters that are in the series. And of course, I'm talking about her relationship with Sabine. And I mean, how do you guys see that relationship? I mean, I kind of see it as definitely a mother-daughter.
I was going to say sister.
Yeah, that's where
Sister?
I would have gone. I would have gone
Because-
the older sister scenario.
Because and one of the best times you see that kind of shine is there's an episode where those two go on a mission together to meet Fulcrum, because at the time we don't know who Fulcrum is.
Yes.
And Sabine wants to know who Fulcrum is. She wants to go meet with Hera.
Yeah.
And they go to this planet where there's these creatures hiding in the base where the sunlight, as soon as they touch sunlight, they start to burn. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know which one. Yeah.
During that episode, Sabine really confides in Hera quite a bit with her past and how the Empire never told her what was going on and didn't trust her with everything. And Hera just kept telling her, have faith. You got to just trust me. And she's like, well, that's what the Empire told me too. You know?
Yeah.
And even later on, there are instances where those two have some serious bonding moments. But personally, I always thought of it as more of a big little sister thing.
I can see that. Yeah. Now that I
But I see where you're coming from also with the mother-daughter thing, because it could also be construed that way as well. I do see where you're coming from though.
Yeah.
Well-
Yeah. I mean, she definitely go ahead.
I would agree with the mother thing in the sense that I think she was a mother to the whole entire ship of the Ghost. You know,
Yeah.
Zeb, Ezra, Kanan, Sabine.
Oh yeah, because she whipped out Zeb's middle name several times.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And there's nothing more mom than that, which is
Yeah.
funny because she wasn't that. I don't think there was that much of an age difference between her and Zeb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost guaranteeing
I mean-
Zeb was older.
Yeah. But yet she still was like, I mean, that's a typical mom thing. You throw out that middle name and you're just like, yes, ma'am.
But
Yeah,
that,
no, that's when your head snaps around. And go, oh shit!
But
It just got real.
But
Yeah.
that's my first thought of her her as a mom is to the whole entire crew. But
Yeah.
I'm right there with Brian. The interactions she's had with Sabine, and even the interactions she's had with Fulcrum, which I'm staying away from the actual name in case people haven't finished Rebels yet.
If they haven't watched it by now, they're not going to.
All right, well, all right, fine.
Yes.
With oh my God, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Thank you, Ahsoka
Ahsoka.
was more sisterly.
Yeah.
You know, closer than friends, but not necessarily like a mother-daughter. I would almost say Ahsoka treated Hera more like a mother
Mhm.
Yeah.
than how Hera would treat Sabine.
Mm.
As far as
I
their
think
interaction.
they treated. I think when I look back and I see the relationship between Hera and Ahsoka, I definitely see that they saw each other almost as equals.
Mhm.
Like there wasn't like you could tell that there was especially at the beginning, and I think it kind of changed later on when in the later season, especially the last season of Rebels, but that there was this you definitely could tell that with her and with like Ezra and Sabine that I'm on top, I'm in charge,
Mhm.
and you're yes, I respect you, but there's definitely a hierarchy. With her and Ahsoka, it was like we are equals.
Mhm.
There's no I'm better than you or I'm higher ranked than you. No, we are equals. There definitely was a hierarchy between her and the rest of the crew. There was her and Kanan, and then there was everyone else.
Mhm. Well, even the first time that I ever even heard of Hera, it wasn't even in Rebels, because there was the first canon novel that came out was A New Dawn, and it was the story of how Kanan and Hera met, and that came out before Rebels ever did. And I remember reading that, and Hera was in think about that, in the very first canon novel Disney released, Hera was introduced. She was the first of the new canonical strong female characters that they introduced into everything. She was the first, and that story of how they met and their first kind of, I don't want to say mission together, but their first days together, where she actually started to call him love already, stuff like that. Because tell me I'm not the only one that was rooting for Kanan and Hera to finally lip lock.
Oh, yes.
How many times did Kanan get cock blocked? Like seriously, like I mean, every time they got like right there, and then Sabine would walk in like, "Damn it, bitch! Really? You couldn't have waited 3 fucking seconds? I've been waiting 4 years for this. Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
And then right there at the end, like it's just, oh god, it is finally.
Well, no, I agree with you, and that I think that was one of the most appealing things about Hera as a character. And even though she has nothing to do with these two characters that that I'm about to use here, but I think she was like a perfect blend of Princess Leia's tenacity and focus and drive that the mission always comes first, and never say die attitude, because she was a straight leader, and she never let anything get in the way of the focus of the mission. But she allowed herself to be vulnerable like Padme. She did allow her times to share her emotions with Kanan, or to actually care about Zeb or about Ezra, or whatever the case may be. She was a perfect blend of both of those characters' strengths and weaknesses, even though she has nothing to do with either of them.
Yeah, and you see that strength in that tenacity, and you see just how much she means to the crew when she's captured.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they will go to anything to bring her back.
Mm-hmm.
And especially you see how much she meant to that little murder droid.
Chopper. Man,
yes.
Look, Chopper is one of those droids. I'm finally getting into Resistance, into episodes where I've never seen him before. And Bucket is, I think I like Bucket more than I do Chopper. But
what?
Chopper is the droid that if you're hanging off a cliff and he's standing there looking down at you, you don't know if he's going to help you up or kick your ass off. Like you don't know which way he's going to go. He's a bastard sometimes.
I swear to you that if you take out the Death Star, Chopper probably has the highest death count in the Star Wars saga.
He's got several. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
No, yes. I want a fan fiction where HK meets Chopper.
Well, we've already got Triple Zero and BT.
Yeah, make those two face HK and Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a death battle. Give me a one-off comic of those two groups getting together.
Right.
And see what happens. You know who wins? The fans.
Oh wow. But yeah, I mean, there definitely was she understood Chopper. Chopper was a war vet.
Yeah.
I mean, we see that
Chopper had PTSD. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time, big time, and we see that in that scene where they go back to Hera's home planet, and you see that Y-wing, and you realize like, oh, Chopper was in
the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chopper saw some crap.
And just like R2, Chopper never had his memory wiped.
Remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chopper. Yeah, and Hera treated Chopper not as a droid.
Mm-hmm.
He was just as much a part of that crew as anyone else.
Well, yeah, because even in the episode I was just talking about with Lando, Zeb bets Chopper in the Sabat game against Lando and loses.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came and told Hera, that was because we were talking about Hera being a mother. Hera used Zeb's middle name then too. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
And Kanan was like, well, he bet Chopper. He's like, he's a member of this crew. She fought for Chopper. Like,
yeah.
Are you serious? So no, yeah, and the fact that Hera even stood up for him that way, as being more than just a droid. Yeah, no, it's.
No, that's a fair point. I think Hera looked at him as a member of the crew, as an equal to everybody else. I don't necessarily think the rest of the crew really looked at Chopper as a droid either. Zeb maybe, but I think the rest of them.
Even Kanan was like, "Do we have to keep him?" Like,
yeah,
really?
but I got the impression from like Kanan and Ezra and Sabine that they more looked at Chopper as like that annoying pet, like that yappy chihuahua that you care for more than an inanimate object like a toaster. But you wouldn't be sorry if somebody left the gate open and it got out of the yard.
Well, how many times did Ezra jump up on top of him and start beating him to death and riding him around the ship. Bang, bang, bang. You know, like, matter of fact, both of them, Ezra and
Hello?
Hello.
Brian just froze up.
All right. But yeah, I mean, like we were talking about, it's
I'm back. For some reason, my Skype was on me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We still have
but
him.
no. Huh?
Go ahead.
But no, Chopper and Ezra both have Black Series figures coming out this year. And I want to get 2 of each of them and put the box ones on my wall, and I want to open them and display them with Ezra like perched on top of Chopper, beating the shit out of him with something.
Dude, my favorite, I know this is about Hera, but my favorite thing was when they were on top of the ghost and they were trying to train Ezra with the use of a lightsaber.
Throwing the milk carts at him?
Yeah, and Chopper went for death. Chopper went for death with that.
Yeah.
He went for the kill. He went to kill Ezra.
While we're on the topic of Chopper, and for those of you who are joining this for the first time and listening to this for the first time, yes, this is something we regularly do, is go off on these tangents. My favorite Chopper moment was the one where they get where Chopper convinces the Imperial droid to help them, and they're on the ghost, and they got the bay doors open, and they're talking like, "Hey, maybe we can add you as a member of the crew." And Chopper just like, "Nope," and pushes them right out the.
Yeah.
I love just like, boop, dude, and just looks down and watches him as he falls to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Well, I say real quick before we get back on tangent to Hera, we go ahead and get our break in.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, War of the Stars will be right back after these commercial breaks.
Why didn't the Three Little Pigs go in for some kind of flat share scheme?
Does Jesus get to choose which wine he turns it into?
Why don't Sims have the upper body strength to climb out of a swimming pool?
And does everybody really want to be a cat?
I'm Will Baker.
And I'm Alex Prescott.
And if you're the type of person that overthinks these deep philosophical questions, then Think to the Brink is the podcast for you.
From Disney characters to song lyrics, debates to social etiquette, tune in every week for your dose of paralysis by analysis.
All topic suggestions are welcome. If you can think it, we can overthink it. Think to the Brink. Available on all podcast platforms.
He said, but said, how dare you say it? That's offensive. Well, someone's gotta say it. It had to be said with Guinness. Catch the live show Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the recordings at any time. It's weekly. Listener, beware. Mature content, sexual content, trigger warning. Do you dare say it?
Hi, this is Dave from the Comic Collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Our phone number is 215-357-3332. We are right next to Northeast Philadelphia. We have action figures, gaming, statues, albums, and CDs, graphic novels, other knickknacks, and, of course, comics. Established in 1985, we are your go-to store. Come by and say hello, and say that the guys from RadioCast FM Radio sent you. The address again is 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or call 215-357-3332.
Hey everyone, this is John Fighting. Check out War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Each week, me and my co-host Christopher Stolle discuss the news and theories surrounding one of the largest movie franchises in the world. So join us every Wednesday, 8 Eastern, as we travel to the galaxy far, far away, right here on Anchor FM and wherever fine podcasts are heard.
Hey everyone, this is Dak.
This is Liam.
And this is White People Shit.
We are a bi-weekly podcast.
Whoa. Maybe you're bi-week. I'm speaking strong.
It means twice a week, you douche.
Oh. Yeah, listen to us twice a week. On White People Wednesdays, talk about gay stuff, zombies, superhero sex positions.
And on Featured Peep Fridays, we interview the Featured Peep of the Week.
Yeah, like a fuck fur.
Search WPS Podcast and look for the white dude in red pajamas.
We're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
We believe in equal opportunity humor, where all things can be made fun of. So if your feelings get hurt, you're offended, you can always
Eat a dick.
Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm here to take Realm of the Mist podcast. Realm of the Mist podcast, we talk about all the great entertainment things, from movies, music, books, comic books, and many other forms of entertainment, as well as politics, current events, and just general and having a good time. If you're looking for a podcast that is right up your alley, look no further than Realm of the Mist podcast. Here on Anchor.fm, where fine podcasts can be heard.
Three-eyed turtle? Is that all right?
What the fuck is a three-eyed turtle?
Are you tired of the same old podcasts with no humor? Well, join us for After Hours, where everything is funny, at least to us, on Anchor.fm, and where quality podcasts are heard.
How the fuck did we get on this?
I don't know.
Fucking FCC started this shit. It's their fucking fault.
And we are back, and hope you guys enjoyed those commercials. Remember, give all those shows a listen and go to wherever and buy whatever they told you to buy.
Brian needs a penis pump.
Yeah, mine broke. Well, you know, somebody borrowed it and then sent it back broken, Chris.
Well, it said one size fits all, and I proved that wrong.
Anyway.
There you go.
Oh, there goes our monetization.
Well, we didn't post pictures.
That's it.
All
right. Well,
that'll be for our Anchor supporters.
Yes.
Incentive.
We want them to listen to the show, Chris. We want them to listen to the show.
Shit, is that the point?
Repeat after Mark.
All right. Well, we're going to make this kind of a shorter show tonight, so we're going to... I know you just had the commercials, but kind of start wrapping things up and just kind of get your all our final thoughts on the character of Hera and get ready for next week. So, Chris, final thoughts on Hera.
I hope to God they do more with her.
Yeah.
We have had her appear in some comics. We had her appear in things like Forces of Destiny. You know, we've had her cameo in Rogue One. But I really hope that more stories about Hera come out. Mm-hmm. I really do. I mean, so far, the only thing we really have dealing with Hera directly besides Rebels is one book.
Mm.
I would love to delve even more into her world, especially during the time of the Galactic Civil War, what her and the Ghost may have been doing during that time. And that's a positive thing. I mean, as far as as what I think of Hera as a character, is that I think she's a strong enough character that I want to know more about her.
Yeah.
And her involvement. So that's my answer, is I want more.
And I almost called you Baron. I don't know why I called you Baron. Brian.
Well, she's a compelling character too.
Yeah.
And like Chris said, she's one that you want to know more about, you know, and you know, we even I don't think we talked about this, but we even got a little glimpse of her in Clone Wars. You know, when Cham Syndulla has his wife and daughter, that's Hera, you know, as just a little girl. And, you know, there's like I said, there's so many new, empowering female characters, right? Like, strong female characters now. But she was the first one that Disney put out. This was even before Rey. You know, this is before Rey Sloane. It was the same novel. They introduced them both in the same novel, but... as far as Hera was the first one, she was the leading woman, and she wasn't even human. Think about it, you know, it wasn't even a human woman, you know. So, like I said, my dog's named after Hera. I love the character. I can't wait to see what her part in Alphabet Squadron is. I still hate the fucking title, but I can't wait to see her role in that and going forward from here on out. And I want to see how pivotal she was to the Galactic Civil War, to the Rebel Alliance. I want to see how actually pivotal she was. And my dog is losing her mind.
She knows you're talking about Hera.
Yeah, she knows I'm talking about her.
John, what about you? How do you feel about Hera? Your final wrap up.
I kind of agree with all of you. I mean, she definitely was one of my favorite character of the non, like, I guess you could say, live action movie character. She is definitely up there, one of my favorite characters, and definitely probably outside of Ahsoka, probably my favorite female character. And I know she's just a very compelling, and like you guys said, she's one of those characters that you want to know more about her. You want to know what she was doing, and how she got to where she was and what she was doing. Like you said, like during that time from episode 4 through
6,
the episode 6, Battle of Endor. What was she doing during that time? What was she doing after that time? And definitely a character I want to know more about. All right, and with that being said, we're going to wrap things up here, and remember to check us out next week as we will be discussing and continuing our look at the Women of Hera. The Women of Hera? The Women of Star Wars, with the other female member of the Ghost crew, Sabine.
I knew it was going to be Sabine next. I knew it.
Let me see if I can get Kirsty on this episode, because she worships the ground Sabine walks on.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
And now, before we get going here and give all our sign off, I believe, Chris, you said you have an announcement to make.
Well, technically, Brian and I both have an announcement to make, and I may let Brian start off.
So when is the date?
Okay. I'll start it, and then you talk about what we have lined up for it.
Right.
Okay. So Chris and I have been talking, and for a long time I've been wanting to do a show called Jedi Issues for the Patreon page for the Star Wars Canon Podcast, where we just talk comics and stuff. And I was going to start it several weeks ago, and I had the editor of the Star Wars comic lined up to guest, and then they couldn't make it. So I ended up pushing the show back indefinitely. Well, Chris and I were talking, and we've decided we're going to bring back Journal of the Jedi, but call it Journal of the Jedi Jedi Issues, where we're talking comic books, right? Nothing but comic books. First episode is going to be coming up in, a month? About a month, or
late
April?
Late April, 1st of May.
And it's going to be a great first episode. We're hoping, Mark, you'll join us on it because...
Well, there's going to be more than just Mark hoping to join. Mark will be representing Realm of the Mist, because one thing that Brian did forget to mention is even though this will be for the Patreon listeners and supporters of Star Wars Canon Podcast, this is a joint venture between Realm of the Mist and Star Wars Canon Podcast. So as such, this first episode will have a representative of Realm of the Mist. I can't think of anybody else who would be more fitting for that than John Mark Tolly to co-host with Brian on the first episode of Jedi Issues, with special guests Dr. Janice Lydell.
Ooh.
Oh, it gets better.
Author John Jackson Miller.
And
actor
it gets better.
Mike Quinn. All have officially signed on for the first episode.
Yes, sir. Mark's brain just turned to jelly.
So it will not be me on this episode. It will be Brian Miller and John Mark Tully. Of course, John, if you don't want to do it.
Oh no, I will definitely. I will see what my schedule is that day, and yeah, I'll have to check my schedule.
Fair enough.
There it is. There's the official announcement. Journal of the Jedi Issues. Episode 1 with special guests Dr. Janice Lydell, John Jackson Miller, and Mike Quinn, hosted by Star Wars Canon Podcast's own Brian Miller, and, of course, your host for War of the Stars, John Mark Tully.
Yep.
Wow.
How's that?
That is huge news. So everyone keep your ears out and eyes out for that one, and that should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So as always, remember to check us out on wherever fine podcasts are heard. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Let me start over with that.
Yeah, try that again. Take two.
You can catch me on the interwebs at JohnMarkTolly1 on Twitter, because I am, of course, the #1 John Mark Tolly on the Twitter machine, and on Facebook at Mark Tolly, and on Instagram at Mark Tolly. Remember to check us out on Anchor.fm and wherever fine podcasts are heard. And Chris, where else can they hear us at?
Well, if you're
going to find us at.
If you're going to find us on Anchor.fm, it'll also give you links to where you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and so many other places. There's like 8 different places that you can find our podcast. And, of course, right here on YouTube.com, just search Realm of the Mist Entertainment. You will find us. And, of course, while you're at the Anchor.fm, hit that support icon. We can use the help.
Yes.
And, of course, check out our Patreon page. Again, just look for Realm of the Mist Entertainment.
Yes, and if you're on iTunes, remember, give us a 5-star review, and remember to give us a like and subscribe to us on YouTube, as they said, and check us out on all the other social media platforms that we're at. And Mr. Miller, where can they find you at?
All right, you guys can find me at apparently the newly resurrected Star Wars Canon Podcast. We finally did an episode on Sunday. Chris and I did. Great episode, by the way. Make sure to go check that out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and StarWarsCanonPodcast.com. Make sure to check out the Patreon page. Just search Star Wars Canon Podcast. I just uploaded episode 10 of After Shows Rebels and After Shows Clone Wars, and episode 4 of After Shows Resistance. I finally found a place to watch it legally, so definitely head over there, check that out. Show some love and watch some Star Wars TV shows with me.
Real quick, I just got a notification on my phone from Anchor, and I think it would be fitting since this episode's about to go up on Anchor. I just got a notification that a listener named Travis Paratus just favorited our podcast. So here's a shout out to you, dude, right on air as we were doing a show, man. You gave us a favorite.
Cool.
We love you for it. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, with that being said, remember, check us out next week as we continue looking with Sabine. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always.